Number 8. Casey Garcia. A Texas mother was arrested in 2021 for sneaking into a middle school while pretending to be her teenage daughter. Casey Garcia later explained her actions as a social experiment meant to test campus security. The 30-year-old woman stood at 4 feet 11 inches tall and weighed around 105 pounds, a physical frame that easily enabled her to pass as a student. She dyed her hair, used skin tanner, and dressed as her child before entering the premises of the Garcia Enriquez Middle School campus in San Elizario, about 20 miles southeast of El Paso. She wore a face mask and provided her daughter's ID number, consequently being allowed to access to the building. Videos circulating on social media showed Garcia greeting others in the school and also attending classes. She'd managed to make it through the morning and most of the afternoon before she was spotted by a teacher and ultimately turned herself into the principal. She was arrested by El Paso County Sheriff's Office deputies for tampering with government records and criminal trespass. According to the superintendent for the school district of San Elizario, officials were reviewing and improving their security protocols in the incident's wake. Number 7. Sarah Brady. In April of 2020, as stay-at-home orders were widespread across the US, an Idaho mother was arrested as part of a group urging others in the state to protest anti-coronavirus prevention measures. Local police approached 40-year-old Sarah Brady at a playdate protest staged at a closed playground in Kleiner Park in Meridian. The officers repeatedly asked her and the others to disperse. Brady, who was also affiliated with at least one anti-vaccine group, refused to leave, turned around with her hands behind her back and dared officers to arrest her. A video of her being taken into custody subsequently began circulating on social media. Brady was charged for trespassing and violating city orders but was released after posting a $300 bond. Less than a week after her arrest, the mother apologized for her behavior in the police encounter, claiming that her frustration over recent restrictions had gotten the better of her. Number 6. Lexa Stagg. In June of 2019, a Houston mother was charged with killing her son as a consequence of what prosecutors reported had been a failed game of chicken. Surveillance footage from a community pool showed that 26-year-old Lexa Stagg had been driving a Lincoln Navigator in reverse as 3 children were chasing after it. She then put the vehicle in drive and moved towards them. 2 were able to get out of the way, but her son, identified as Lord Renfro, was struck by the SUV. He later passed away at Memorial Hermann Southwest Hospital. Stagg was released after being interviewed by the police and after it had been determined she wasn't intoxicated. Her son's death was initially investigated as an accident, but after reports of the game emerged, Stagg was charged with criminal negligent homicide. Speaking on the incident, the Harris County District Attorney told the media, "Cars aren't toys and playing chicken with your kids isn't a game." Number 5. Daphne Mellin. A video began circulating on Facebook and YouTube in September of 2011 of a mother encouraging her preteen daughter to fight a bully before attacking a child herself. According to Daphne Mellin, her 12-year-old daughter, named as Jade, had been bullied and threatened online by another student of the William Floyd Elementary School in Long Island, New York. Mellin, a mother of 3, reported that she'd spoken to the school about the incident, but was allegedly told that staff couldn't intervene because it was an online issue. Mellin then drastically took matters into her own hands. She drove Jade to the school and confronted a group of which her alleged bully was also a part. A number of outlets wrote that the mother then encouraged Jade to fight the other 12-year-old. However, it was also reported that Jade didn't want to take part in the altercation, so a friend of hers took on the bully instead. The police didn't confirm the relationship between 32-year-old Mellin and the preteens in the brawl. As the 2 girls began fighting, with Mellin egging them on, another girl reportedly told the woman something along the lines of, "You are a mother. You should be stopping this." It wasn't clear if the onlooker was connected to Jade's bully. Mellin then spat and cursed at the child prior to grabbing her hair and attempting to knee her in the head. After the video surfaced, the mother turned herself in and was charged with 3 counts of endangering the welfare of a child and 1 count of attempted assault. Number 4. Tara Avon. In April of 2019, a concerned woman from Prescott, Arizona, reported to the authorities that a long time had passed since she'd seen her neighbor, 74-year-old Sandra Avon. The latter's daughter and granddaughter lived in a property adjacent to hers and gave conflicting reports regarding Sandra's whereabouts upon being interviewed by the police. Tara and Briar Avon, aged 46 and 24 respectively, would eventually be revealed to have been involved in the matriarch's death. Her remains were found in the back bedroom of her home in a decomposed state, with duct tape around her wrists and ankles. The cause of death was determined to have been blunt force trauma. Briar would confess to hitting her grandmother multiple times in the head with a hammer and then hiding her body after she'd succumbed to her injuries. Tara learned about the killing, but instead of urging her daughter to surrender or report the incident, actively participated in covering it up. For years, both women collected Sandra's mail, bank statements, and rent checks, and then spent the funds. Briar pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, among other charges, and was sentenced to 38 years in prison, while Tara admitted guilt to hindering prosecution, tampering with evidence, as well as charges of theft and forgery, for which she was given a sentence of 16 years. Number 3. Lori Vallow. In September of 2019, Tylee Ashlyn Ryan and Joshua Jackson from Rexburg, Idaho, were reported missing by relatives amidst a string of suspicious events surrounding their mother, Lori Vallow, and her new husband, Chad Daybell. The couple had a well-documented obsession with the end of times, and Daybell had expressed his doomsday-related views in numerous books and podcasts. Vallow had been an obsessive fan of his leading up to the moment they'd met in the fall of 2018, after which a relationship ensued. Around the time of the children's disappearance, people connected to Vallow and Daybell died in close succession. Vallow's husband, Charles, was shot and killed by her brother, Alex Cox, in Chandler, Arizona, in June of 2019. Cox, who would later claim self-defense, had confronted Charles for allegedly abusing his sister. Evidence would indicate that Charles had grown fearful of his wife, who had become an avid follower of Daybell and his unusual belief system. It was rooted on eternal beings, reincarnation, and humans split into dark and light beings, based on their following of Satan or Christ. On October the 19th, mere weeks before Lori Vallow and Daybell got married, the latter's wife, Tammy, had died. Daybell reported that she'd passed away in her sleep from natural causes and declined a post-mortem or an autopsy. Messages had allegedly been exchanged between Vallow and Daybell in which the latter expressed his belief that Tammy had been possessed by a spirit. Vallow and Daybell were married in Hawaii in November of 2019 and continued living there, telling others that the former's daughter was dead and mentioning no other child. They offered no contribution to the ongoing investigation into the disappearance of Tylee and Joshua, an aspect which enhanced investigators' suspicions that they'd been involved. In February of 2020, Vallow was arrested in Kauai and charged with desertion and non-support of her dependent children. On June the 9th, a search warrant was executed at the Idaho home of Daybell. Two sets of human remains, later confirmed as Tylee and Joshua, were found in a purported pet cemetery. Documents reported on by NBC News indicated Vallow had been convinced by Daybell that her children were possessed and had become zombies. The couple was indicted on murder charges for Tylee, Joshua, and Tammy's deaths. A sentence hasn't been pronounced, but based on the latest updates, Vallow was found incompetent to stand trial, while prosecutors expressed an intention of seeking the death penalty for Daybell. Number 2. Iris Guerrero. A Las Vegas mother was arrested on charges of child abuse and child endangerment in November of 2019 after a handgun was found in the backpack of her third-grade son. The child immediately reported the weapon to his teacher and said he had no idea as to how it had ended up in his school bag. The police were called in. Upon investigating the scene, officers found that the firearm wasn't loaded and that there was no ammunition in the backpack. The boy's mother, 36-year-old Iris Guerrero, was contacted and admitted that the gun was hers. Guerrero told the authorities that she'd placed the gun in her son's school bag, but then got distracted and forgot about it. The man who dropped Guerrero off at the school, 30-year-old Sebastian Navaguera, had parked a Cadillac Escalade in a red zone while waiting for her. Officers approached him about the parking issue and noticed that the vehicle's registration was expired. They asked Navaguera for his license, insurance, and registration, but the man told them he didn't have anything. The police then searched the SUV while awaiting a tow truck and found a handgun. They also discovered methamphetamine in the man's possession, prompting his arrest on vehicle, weapons, and drug charges. Number 1. Ann Dodge. In the summer of 2017, a mother and daughter from Sarasota, Florida, were arrested for running an unlicensed erotic massage parlor out of their home. Neighbors reported that every day there were 5 to 10 cars visiting the residence of 55-year-old Ann Dodge and her daughter Jennifer, aged 30, with the occupants predominantly consisting of older men. A Backpage.com ad posted by the women advertised the supposed therapy that brought prospective clients to a whole new level of ecstasy. The authorities followed up on a tip and put together a sting operation. After giving an undercover officer a massage, Anne was arrested on 2 felony counts of unlicensed practice of a healthcare profession and 2 misdemeanor counts of operating a massage parlor without a license. The woman maintained that she was a licensed therapist as well as a religious minister who performed laying of the hands. Jennifer was arrested separately the following day after offering to perform intimate acts on an undercover officer in exchange for $200, as opposed to the $120 price tag on a simple massage. Court records indicated she had 3 prior convictions for soliciting. Anne and Jennifer's activities were described as being in line with those of a brothel, with the former presumed to have initiated her daughter in the practice. Thanks for watching. Would you rather never date again or have your mother do a thorough performance review of every date you go on? Let us know in the comments section below.